Hello and welcome to another stream here at Crown Cup. I am co-casting with this today. I'm Yaffa, a little cupcake, but if you do come across me in competitive, you are not going to be seeing that side of me. But I'm here with an amazing co-caster, Zeus.
Hello, hello. I mean, everyone knows a cupcake with crowns for eyelashes, that is a formidable foe. You cannot mess with that.
I
But
know, right? I mean, these are just absolutely beautiful, top tier, you know, eyelashes that I've made prepared specially for this broadcast Crown Cup. But we've got an amazing match coming up today. In fact, it is happening right now between two of the best teams in the Champions Division. We've got Wire Siege and Celestial, both of which have been incredibly well in the group stages, and now they are in the winners. Sorry, the winners playoff series, and whoever loses this is going to be going down, unfortunately, to the lower bracket. But if they do, then they are going to be heading on to the finals of the upper bracket, and that is obviously going to be put them in a good standing so far. Why is Siege there, as you can see, doing an excellent job so far, and now facing MUC Celestial. Whoever's going to be winning this will be fighting against the winner of the other match that's going on, Kill Switch, and their opponents, and they have been another contenders of this game. Lower brackets, as you can see, with unfortunate already being populated by some of the earlier matches that we did not get to see. However, there are plenty of matches on our YouTube channel, Crown Cup Esports, so make sure to go and check those out. And you might have seen it as well in the little lower bracket there, but at the very end, there's a little line that kind of goes off into the sky, and one of our observers pointed out that it's you know, oh, I forgot what he said now. It's so annoying.
I have no idea what you said, but
I was
I
gonna
do
yoink it. It
know.
was such an amazing line. It's like you know, off to the sky. Anyway.
Oh,
Just a line that just kind of like goes off, disappears into the sky. But that is, of course, for the winner of the lower bracket, going on to the grand finals to face whoever is going to be there. And I am looking forward to all of those matches. It is going to be exciting for sure. But what do you think we're going to be seeing in this upcoming match, Zeus?
well, I think this is interesting. Wire Siege got first overall in the Swiss stage of this tournament. Um, MUC Celestial did get third, which is very respectable, very impressive out of 18. But looking at the matches, Wire Siege, the only team to win five out of all the matches, they won five. MUC Celestial won four and lost two. So I think it's quite likely for Wire Siege to knock this out the park and take this home. I wouldn't necessarily count MUC Celestial out of the running yet, but it looks like we have a pretty dominant team here. So it might be difficult for anyone to hold a candle to them and really do anything. I'm really, really interested to see what happens. And the game got a massive update to how the meta plays 2 or 3 days ago. I mean, looking at these patch notes, it is insane. It just keeps going on forever. But some characters just absolutely faded into obscurity and others really rose above here. Now, I do have to note that Cassidy and Cassidy is banned from this tournament for at least for now, purely because they broke him. He is he can pretty much get a really simple one-shot combo off if they are skilled enough. It is difficult to do, but it's still busted. And when you have hit scan DPS as good as in this tournament, you kind of have to stop him being played. Wu Yang is also banned in this tournament just because he's a new character. He shakes everything up so much, and I don't think our production team made the graphics for him.
Well, I think it's more of a case that actually, with a lot of tournaments, when you do release a new character in these games, they tend to prefer to play on the safer side, banning the character because you're not really sure, how things are going to be. And it's a bit of a big mix-up as well, especially in the playoffs, which is where we are right now. So for me, it makes a lot of sense that that is the case. In fact, I'm not even sure that Wu Yang is. available to play in competitive at the moment in Overwatch, but I might be wrong about that. Of course, I didn't really get to play all that much with the indie developer game server quality that we got last week. In fact, sorry, not last week, earlier on in this week. So all the
Yeah,
classic
yeah.
joys to be looking forward to in this
They
low
only
budget game.
they only have Microsoft money. That's nothing. But looking at the teams here for YS Siege, we have Overwhelmed Panther, Blizzard Star, uh, Matanui, I believe, and Curiosity. That is a team without subs, I believe. So they are very confident in their main roster, and we've seen plenty from them. I am really excited to see what they pull out here, what they're able to do. Uh, and for the side of MUC Celestial, we have Noah, Syntago, Fallen, Leston, Orpheus. Orpheus is a really, really good tank. We've seen a lot from them this tournament so far. And then they have a couple subs, so Aegis, PC the Only, and Croshy.
Yeah, I do love a very good tank play. It's probably one of my favorite roles, in fact, the tank, which is a bit of a hot take, I know, given what some of the tank players like to say. But I mean, those hero choices as favorites, that Lucio as a tank player. I mean, I feel like we're going to be in for a quite the treat as this team goes up against YS Siege. YS Siege, the only team to not drop any maps during the group stages, so a powerful team to be reckoned with. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams throw it down in the future.
Yeah, and I believe we will be headed into the match in just a couple minutes now. So be sure to grab whatever drinks you need, go to the loo, get the bare necessities. And I promised I would tell that joke in this at some point. I had to pause it somehow. But I do have a Jungle Skog with me. He is going to be happily watching this tournament, as I hope you all do.
Yeah, of course. I mean, staying around to watch is just the bare necessity of what's going to be coming up in the future. And I was the one who pointed out and said, "Zeus, you better use this when in the broadcast. You got to make that joke, man." And oh, it was delivered so well as well in our little pre-chat just before the stream. Always fun to get to know your casters and also your production staff as well. We've got Ebroth as well on production, and we've got a couple of amazing observers, Ember, and also uh, Faultier, Faultier.
Ultimate waffle, I believe. But I know
Hey,
that wherever I wander and wherever I roam, I am thinking about one thing and one thing only, and that is what is the Overwatch meta and what is going to happen in the Crown Cup tournament. That I'm forcing these at this point, but I am genuinely really, really excited to see what happens here in this because the meta's just shifted so hard. I don't think anyone truly has an idea of it. I mean, Doomfist got a ton of buffs, and then his punch got completely reworked. The way he charged it with his perks, I believe, got changed a lot. Diva's looking really good now because she has options for how to attack and how to oppress her opponents. Because her new major perk allows her to just scope in, which seems crazy on a shotgun hero, but I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be excited. I mean, Roadhog is practically the same as they were before. It's kind of like pressing the
Oh
reverse and
yeah,
rollback button on Roadhog. Like, how can we forget Roadhog is just all of a sudden, gone back to, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Blizzard have maybe poached a couple of the developers on the balance team for League of Legends, a game infamous and well known for their amazing high quality balance patches. So I feel like we got a lot in store looking forward to, and I feel like this is just going to be the start of these highly experienced developers making some very informed decisions on the perks and I just think we got so much excitement ahead of us. And
uh,
I really do mean that excitement. Maybe not the other bits I was saying, but excitement Yeah, no, I definitely think so. A lot of chaos upcoming, and I think that makes things a little bit more interesting.
Yaffa being 100% earnest, as always. We do not take any tomfoolery, any nonsense here at Crown Cup.
No, not
We
at
will
all.
always talk about some form of early teens animated movie. Last time it was the B movie. This time it's the Jungle Book. B movie's probably funnier, but when you've got a massive brown bear, you run with what you've got, I guess.
Well, I suppose you really do like your movies, Zeus. I mean, just how much that you like that B movie. I mean, you make me
I
believe
hate
in
the
just how
B
much
movie.
you've studied up on the B movie lore, the theories behind it. I mean, you could easily write like 5 essays on the B movie. I mean, chat. Believe me, Zeus is definitely someone who has really likes the B movie. They can
I
tell you a lot about it, a
I
huge
watched
amount about it.
I astronomical. No, I watched one video documentary of a lawyer reacting to the B movie. Only the legal scenes, nothing to do with what I'm pretty sure a side plot, which is the romance
Yep.
story.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
and we
there's
hear nothing else. We hear nothing else from Zeus but like a legal. Oh, this is a class action lawsuit. Oh, it
but
wouldn't
it's
work
not
because
though.
of blah blah blah
It
blah. We can't. I,
okay. It's based
all
in
I
the
hear about
American
the B
legal
movie,
system,
Zeus.
which is different to a lot of other legal systems because they're all different. But class action lawsuits cannot happen against an entire industry. You would
Oh no,
sue
here we go again.
one company, and it's so silly and so stupid. It would also be objectively, it would make objectively far more sense to sue one company and you choose the worst one, because then from that you're able to choose the net you're able to have a precedent, you're able to have another case to go off for future court proceedings and be like, hey, you ruled that the bees were in the right in this case, you should do it for this one because it's similar. Sorry, I might have an aneurysm.
Well, anyway, moving on. Because I mean, I'm looking forward to this match, and I hope there are going to be some people in chat who are here to support your favorite team, whether that team is YS Siege or MUC Celestial. Because if you are on the losing seed, unfortunately, you will be going down to the losers bracket. So please do not be crying out too many tears to fill up the Champions Cup, the Crown Cup for the champion to be drinking from. So, in fact, that might get me in trouble saying that. But, like I said, I might be a cupcake, but if you come across me in ranked, I'm going to
You're
be
not so
making
sweet.
sure to be whooping your ass.
And the looking at the rookie division, which is
Uh-huh.
a separate tournament, separate bracket, which is running concurrent in parallel to the challenger division. We currently have MC Solstice already having won a match there and moving on to the next stage in the tournament. But we are seeing that Oasis has been chosen as the first map in this match.
Yes, indeed. And I was I mentioned a little bit about the fans here being, if you're here and are in chat and you are a fan, well, I hope you're not a fan of Tracer or Winston because both of those characters have been banned in this map. And it's an interesting choice to ban, actually. I think the Tracer makes a lot of sense. Tracer's been buffed quite a lot. She's starting to do a lot more damage in the medium ranges where she's quite potent. And I think in the earlier patches, he felt a bit more like a tickle stick in many ways, and you're just not really going to be able to do so much. So, able to chase down those kills as Tracer is probably the only thing that you can really. I mean, obviously, you got a lot of positional advantages. Can't ignore that. But the Winston as well on this particular map, there's a lot of high ground that you can jump to. There's a lot of opportunities to play kind of diving compositions, and I suppose Winston has been buffed in the most recent patch.
Okay, you cannot make this up. Overwatch just released an emergency patch We're not entirely certain how this changes things yet. We might be able to see in the patch notes and updates information, but it does mean we are going to be delayed just a couple more minutes,
Oh,
which is
amazing. I mean,
really
believe me, we're
annoying.
gonna have so much to talk about, right? Sorry.
Yeah, do you guys want to hear about my awful D&D homebrew I made this week?
Oh gosh, no, 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 no. Moving on, moving on. Overwatch, Overwatch. We've got a lot of interesting characters in Overwatch. I'm not
Yeah,
sure how it. Although actually, oh no, I can't believe you made me think this now. I was thinking about how would I homebrew like one of the Overwatch characters into D and D.
okay,
I
okay.
I have no idea how I would do that.
Which character do you want to
Uh,
do? Choose one.
which character? I mean, I really would like chat to pick, but I can't really wait for like 10 minutes or whatever to see chat's response. So I think I'm gonna have to go with. You know what? Let's go with the Bastion. My personal favorite, my hero, my champion, Bastion.
That is like, oh, dude, you just have to. Okay, so there are guns in D&D. One sec. Let me get up the D&D rules real quick.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
So I'm not even sure if you could do it. You'd have to do Warforged. Let me see if I can find the Warforged rules real quick.
Well, I mean,
War
basically, you've just got like a move forward button, right? As an ability, as an action. You
Yeah,
can, you've got weapons. Well, I mean, instead of using it as a gun, maybe it's just like it's a scatter shot arrow, and that's close enough to describe. I mean, I know that's more road hard, but I'm sure it'd be close enough, right? And
yeah.
then, oh, I think it's definitely doable. I mean, I'm not sure anybody's going to question you so much on balance. That might be a different problem, but at least
I
you're not
mean,
adding the most recent Cassidy, feature of you right click and left click at the same time, you delete anybody in the game. So, you know,
I mean, there is a Gatling gun in D&D. So
I
you
suppose
probably
there is,
end up
yeah.
uh what do you mean you suppose there is? You knew
I
this?
suppose. I mean, look, man, it's D&D. I'm sure they've had like
That's
added like all sorts. They got spaceships for goodness sake, right? In D&D, you
yeah,
know,
they added
I,
the whole space setting, which to be fair isn't awful.
ten
But
after 10 years, they're gonna add something.
I mean, I feel like it wouldn't be that bad. You'd go a warforged gunslinger, have have a Gatling gun, and then another form of gun, and it's not that awful. I mean, I don't love it. I'll be honest. It's not a very interesting character, but it does work, and I think that's quite unfortunate. I'm
Yeah.
I'm looking at the oh right yeah. I mean, looking at the characters in here, I think Ryanheart might be one of the most interesting to convert because that's already going for a lot of the fantasy vibes. You're already going for like over the top camp nonsense. And I think that you could successfully play him as like a paladin or something, right? And you just homebrew like a shield spell for him or whatever.
Yeah, I suppose so. Although I'm not sure if it's been mentioned yet, but our producer has just come in through the chat to tell us that the only true guns that you need in D&D are the guns of the arms of a barbarian, which I think is quite sweet, honestly. Barbarian is probably it's a classic. It's a good one. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're to add a barbarian, right, you're gonna have to choose something like Malga, right? Malga's the closest I think you're gonna get to a barbarian, right? Malga's got those big chunky muscles. He comes in, he rushes in. He basically has the same, enraged mode. Actually, I wonder if maybe
Yeah.
Reinhardt. How would you do Reinhardt? Because Reinhardt is easily one of the best heroes in all of Overwatch.
Um, I mean, I genuinely think either like fighter um or paladin, and then you give him a homebrew archetype or subclass. So basically, you can homebrew a couple spells for him. So like you can homebrew one that is his big shield to help block damage using his action, things like that. You would also homebrew like a charge rules, similar to the centaur rules for charging. I think that would work. Basically, if centaurs run directly towards their opponent and then hit them, they deal extra damage. Um, I mean, our producer just suggested Winston in Primal Rage could be a barbarian. I do find the idea of Mauga being a barbarian who still just shoots people really funny because it's so unintuitive and so counter um it counters any logic that class already had, because guns don't deal more damage the angrier you are, but the idea that you do is simply incredible and simply awe-inspiring.
I mean, actually, I think that's a pretty okay idea. To be fair, because Winston's primal is an awful lot like that. I mean, actually, I wonder what would the hardest would be to add into D&D. I feel like Genji would probably be a fighter. That's pretty easy, right? You know, you got those double attacks, you got all sorts. May,
I feel like Genji might work better as a monk though, right?
you
He's
think
hyper
so?
mobile, he gets in, does a little bit
True.
of
Yeah,
damage, gets
yeah.
out quick. Like that. I mean, also there's just the lore thing there, I guess. It working
But
slightly
Genji's
better.
whole character is
But
his blades. You know, it's I feel like
yeah, fair.
you know that doesn't really.
I
I mean,
understand what you're saying.
I suppose you could go like a hybrid. That's a great thing 'cause you know, he did, you know, as in the law, Genji did go ahead and study some time with Zenyatta. One of the support heroes who's actually just secretly a DPS, which who's a monk. I mean, I mean, how would you make that sense work out? Because you know, Zen works well as a monk, but he's kind of also a ranger with his orbs, and maybe he's a bard, or maybe you have to just make something up in between.
I feel like Zen's just actually Ranger works because Rangers get Hunter's Mark, Discord Orb. They also get healing spells, which Zen can do. And it very much fits the vibe of moving from one position to another and shooting from a distance that Zen fits. But they have enough spellcasting that you could give him some closer range spells because like he's got the kit, things like that. That would work quite well. Now, I think the funniest conversion would be Wu Yang because he's basically the only character that is actual magic, and that's funny.
Well, I gotta interrupt you though. Although you've made an excellent point here, we do now have finally gotten into a game of
No,
at
I wanted
long
to talk
last of
about
Overwatch
D&D
between
more.
MC Celestial and YS Siege. Here we go at the very top of the game. Here we go. Start off with a Sigma, which I'm a bit surprised about. Trying to get the high ground already, going through some pokey kills.
Yeah, I mean, Sigma did get buffed. They removed his absolutely pointless abilities now, but that is a quick triple kill from Blizzard Star. Oh my gosh, really showing off the power of Venture now. But that's potentially extremely threatening for the side of MUC Celestial. I am not entirely sure how this is going to go now. Orpheus choosing to play Sigma is an interesting choice. I know he did get changed. His perks are better now, but I still think he's not nearly good enough to properly run.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, he just suffers from like the wrong kind of stat points being invested into Sigma as a character, right? Sigma is all about the poke and the range, and as soon as like you just hold W, it just becomes useless, right? You just gotta switch to a different character like 99% of the time. But I don't think that's really gonna matter for half of the team here on YS Siege because Blizzard Star here and Panther are going absolutely wild, getting those kills where they need them, and they're now chasing down the rest of the players, getting that pick onto an unfortunate Lucio, and I think that's just gonna be a quick, you know, 50-60%, and you're probably only really going to be looking at, I know it's only 50%, but I'm going to think MC Celestial are going to be struggling with the future thing. I mean, they've already got switched out this Sigma onto an Orisa, which I think is a good call.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a really, really good play for Panther there. They got the kill on the Genji early on, which allowed them to know that they can reposition and their team aren't going to die. There's no backline going to push them. But we see the window of opportunity does come out and largely gets wasted here, I'll be honest. It just gives YSH more time and more time to set a double kill like that. That is crazy. They managed to get several more kills using that excavation initiation from Blizzard Star, and at 90%, I'm not sure how much more MUC Celestial will be able to do, as the overclock is popped. That's going to deny a lot of space, but Lucio does try to touch around the back end of the point and gets booped off the map by Blizzard Star. A brilliant defense from YSH, and that is an extremely quick first point.
Yeah, absolutely. That was just incredibly quick. I mean, it feels like maybe Celestial might have been put off the game just a little bit after that emergency patch that came out, thanks to, indie developer Blizzard. So, I mean, or maybe it might be, because of the patches as a whole. The heroes are slightly different. How they play, the perks, and the various changes that they made. So maybe that's also putting them off a little bit, but. Man, that first point was devastating. Why is Siege were doing such a strong job just shutting down and being able to pick off all of those kills when they needed it? It kind of makes you wonder if the rest of this weekend, because this is a proper match for both of these players' teams.
Yeah. I'm just reading chat. Blizzard Star seems to be most people's either son or dad. I'm sure that's true, at least in both of those capacities. Not sure if that's true for the people in chat. Fallen getting an early kill onto Panther, as we see a push from the side room here. No one actually is playing on point, and there's no point to yet. It's not open, but an early push with Orpheus swapping to Ramatra now, dealing quite a lot of damage. Isn't going to quite find the value they need to. YSH does finally get a death, but I'm not sure if it's even going to be enough, as they roll their opponents time and time again.
Yeah, it just really wasn't enough there, unfortunately. Celestial are just having a hard time staying alive, and Siege are doing a great job at keeping their range, picking off the players when they need to, with, Venture, and using all the options that they have to really increase their survivability as well. I mean, Overwhelm is, he's got really good at anchoring as an Orisa. You've got your survivability with your lamp, with your dashes, with your tunneling, with Lucio being able to speed away. It's actually like a surprisingly survivable team, and I think that's just prevented them from really getting too much done.
Oh my gosh, that Lucio just getting pushed into the wall. Blizzard Star really showing the power of Venture now. People have figured Venture out. They've solved how to play them, and they've got really good at what is, in my opinion, a really fun character. And with the recent changes, I believe they're quite strong now. I'm just going to have a look at the perks they have now.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're now getting into another fight here between these two teams. As an ultimate comes out here from Overwhelm. Isn't able to quite overwhelm them, but does get the kill. He's chasing down the second onto the tank, and that's all that they need. Why is Siege cleaning up the rest as the other team members pick up the kills elsewhere? Unfortunately, Celestial just not quite being able to do enough there. They're just not quite able to punch through, and maybe that's partly behind that ban on Winston, maybe, or the Tracer. It's just not really helping them be able to break through, find those off angles to really disrupt the team.
Yeah, I mean, we see it so often though. A team will dominate the first match, or first game, and then start losing significantly the next one. Did Curiosity just beat on Fallen's head? But PCD only managing to get a kill onto Panther. I'm not sure how much longer they're going to live with the Kiriko ultimate and the Lucio be on the objective. MUC Celestial using so much just to hold here. And finally, YSH gets some back momentum. They manage to push back, and they're dealing a lot of damage here. But I'm not sure if it's going to end up being enough, with the Venture in the backline almost dead, and the ult from Orpheus managing to get 2 kills. They're not going to quite touch.
Yeah, thankfully Celestial are able to turn it around at the very end before some kind of /accept gets sent in chat. But it's besides the point, because I hope that Celestial accept the challenge that YSH are presenting them. with this. They have finally managed to flip the point, as I said, but I'm not sure how long this is going to last because YSC have been on a bit of a roll so far. But they are put in a different situation now. How well are they going to keep up as this fight hows out?
Yeah, absolutely. The overclock coming out from Fallen here, trying to deal a lot of damage, is going to be able to get rid of the immortality field, but isn't going to find much more value than that. Will find one kill as Blizzard Star finds one on that back line. Oh my gosh, they are everywhere. They need to be all of the time, and they are showing how strong Venture can be, how well they can be played in this current meta. The amount
Yeah,
of CC and damage combos one character has here is ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Venture has seen some great play at the higher level in the Face It League with I think it was Arias doing an excellent job with making use of the combo, not just of Venture, but also with Zarya and using those bubbles to be really aggressive and disrupt the enemy team. And I feel like that's what, not necessarily what they were using Venture for, but Venture is she's just a very mobile and she can be very independent as well. You've got those combos, you've got those drills, you've got all those, great options that have been perhaps slept on a little bit as the patches have gone by. And I feel like with the recent changes and these perks as well, they're always going to be changing it. But that makes me wonder though, although Venture was doing incredibly well, perhaps Celestial, maybe they take the risk and they see if they can go ahead and mirror, and maybe it's a compositional difference, and maybe they'll be able to beat it. Maybe it's worth taking on that risk, or maybe it's not in their hero pool. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious. I'm excited to see what happens here. We've just seen a clear display from YS Siege here, but I would not count MUC Celestial out of the running just yet, because teams will form their own meta in matches. They will learn what their opponents are good and what they are bad at, and they will learn how to exploit that. The bans are so pivotal to what heroes can actually be played. Because you're not just banning one character, you're banning their potential counters. You're making other characters weaker because they don't have someone to synergize with necessarily. So I'm really excited to see what happens here and how the teams play it out overall.
Yeah, I'm certainly interested indeed. Uh, in the group stages, these two teams, well, it's a bit of an interesting situation. MUC, sorry, Celestial. They were one of the teams that came, second, third, and fourth tied for games played and one lost ratio. But to see these teams kind of, I mean, fighting is interesting. MUC Celestial have already beaten have already beaten Masrana, who came second in the group stages. Whereas, YS Siege kind of came out on top, only having to play, only about 5 maps and winning them all. So while YS Siege is definitely the team to beat, it's still all to play for. I would not count out the amount of times that we have seen matches in Crown Cup, where the first map was an absolute disaster for someone, and then they somehow are able to bring it back in map 2 and 3, maybe even map 4. It's quite incredible actually, because some of those maps they might have started off series. Sorry, some of the series might have started off really weak, but like those final matches, man. That I remember one with a push map, absolutely insane final map. They nearly reverse swept after getting absolutely sweet crazy map. But if you do want to watch that, I'm going to plug it yet again. It's on YouTube on Crown Cup Esports, so make sure you go ahead and watch that. But we've got another map coming ahead, map 2. So what kind of heroes do you think that we're going to be seeing this time around?
I'm not sure. Orpheus is a tank player that likes to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks.
Hmm.
It's extremely interesting and fun to watch because you never know what MUC Celestial is quite going to do. And it also makes them a difficult team to play against because they're so unpredictable. So I'm really excited to see here if we see potentially a Winston, potentially a Diva in this next match. It truly depends on what the picks and bans are, but we're potentially going to see quite a different meta in this next match these teams can't ban the same character twice. So Tracer and Winston are both fully open for this next match, and they are both formidable opponents, especially Tracer. She is near meta defining at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure if you have watched any of the highest level of Overwatch play recently, you're definitely going to have seen some Tracer play here and there. But I feel like Tracer can often work well in a counter situation where you're sort of working well against other opponents and in how Tracer deals and takes space and contest. But now Tracer, she's a bit more of a menace now. She can do a whole lot more damage. So I don't think that while in the past you might have picked Tracer because she was quite strong and kind of worked well against paired up against different heroes. Well, now I think that you might just want to pick Tracer anyway because Tracer's just kind of a universally good hero. I mean, like you were saying, just loads of damage, loads of mobility. It's like the ideal DPS. If you could put every single ability that you could think of that would be like really good on a DPS, that's Tracer. It's just kind of
Yeah.
hard to do much. Like Tracer's just gonna be good because she has all the abilities that makes a DPS good. So
Mhm. Now, I'm really, really excited to see what your opinions are on more Overwatch D&D homebrew, and I am of course joking. We are seeing Kings Row as the next map choice. One of my favorite maps. I am a Lucio main, so I'm of course extremely biased. I love Brawl and I love Kings Row. It's so interesting. Each stage of it feels so unique, and especially first point, there's so many ways to approach the attack there. And not one's not necessarily better than another. It's just a matter of how well you can play it. Now we are going to see why a Siege ban Orisa and MUC Celestial ban Baptiste. Those are both quite reactionary heroes. So we're probably going to see a very, very fast game here. A lot of quick engagements, a lot of waiting for the perfect time to strike, then striking instantly, trying to execute your plan in a matter of seconds instead of waiting for your opponents to make a move and then responding, which Orisa and Baptiste both lean so well into doing so.
yeah, I think we might also see a little bit of possibly Hazard, possibly Reinhardt as well. Now that Reinhardt has some, you know, heroes that are actually decent now, sorry, actually perks that are actually decent now. So I'd be interesting to see how that goes down. But MCU Celestial going with the Hazard, and I believe that Orpheus has been well known for a little bit of a nasty Hazard. So especially for the opposing team. Actually, I wonder if anybody got the bans right. That's an interesting thing. If anybody made the predictions for that. But if you are going to be predicting that, you better also be predicting the outcome of this match. And I hope that you are supporting your team wholeheartedly.
Yeah, interesting choice here from Wire Siege, playing the Brig Kiriko, a combo we don't see often, but I believe the main choice there, the main reasoning for it, is because Anna's been changed so much. Blizzard start getting an early kill onto Iceland, and now really pushing up, really pushing into their opponents. They know they don't have um, players on their team, on their enemy team, who can react in the same way as Baptiste or Orisa can, and so they have the space and they took it, already capping the objective here and already pushing up so far as we see a Hazard mirror, and that is fun for the Hazards, not for anyone else.
Yeah, well, I think that was kind of somewhat to be expected for me. I was not expecting what Overwhelm was originally, which was the Sigma, because Sigma's just not very weak. But a beautiful kill straight off the bat here for MUC Celestial, starting off strong on their retake, but unfortunately they did lose the first point, able to regain their ground and start holding around this little choke point. That's going to be putting them in a good position later on. So, I mean, kind of surprising the Blizzard start getting caught off by surprise with a shot to the back of the head. But I guess that's all that you need, and that is all the better for MUC Celestial.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like Wire Siege were getting a little overconfident, a little cocky there. They really, really pushed up so far. But the Lucio in the backline here trying to do stuff. I don't think they'll do much. They do force Panther into the backline, but they die themselves. Fallen and Orpheus each getting a kill on their clone, on their mirror. And that is a hold from MUC Celestial. They might be able to do a lot here. This is quite a common chokehold, where if you manage to win one fight, you can probably win and hold it for the next couple minutes. But the Echo instantly trying to go over onto this high ground won't quite be able to. The sticky bombs onto Fallen aren't going to do that much in the end, as Hazard does get walled off, and the Hazard ult does come out from Overwhelmed, trying to find a kill, won't quite, except they then get two. Ison getting one onto Matt Snooey, and Curiosity killing Noah. Now, this is a Brig and Brig v no one. MUC Celestial all fall down at the end.
I don't think anyone's gonna be winning a Brig v no one. I mean, maybe if you're the Brig, I suppose. But on the other hand, a very impressive display by YSH, able to trade out and take the advantage from those ultimates, even if they might not have necessarily connected and got those kills immediately. It gave them enough of an advantage to then secure those kills. You know, it forces resources out, it forces pressure, and they win the fight beautifully so.
Yeah, absolutely. Now Orpheus trying to push up, trying to get to a point where they can hold. YSH are such an aggressive team here, but it's worked. They've got so much distance onto the objective. The supports are ended up being mirrored as everyone just kind of stays alive, but the overclock from Fallen able to get a kill. Ison killing Panther. Ison then killing Curiosity with the pulse bomb. And YSH have all been struck down. The Titans they are finally topple over.
I mean, this has been an amazing second point here by MUC Celestial. That pulse bomb as well, beautiful work by Ashton, trying to presumably, you know, catch the eyes of everyone around to, you know, be like, hey, should vote for me for player of the match. Because that was a beautiful, and if they keep this up as well, they're going to be doing absolute work. No wonder Tracer got banned first map.
Yeah, Overwhelmed showing how threatening Hazard can be. Blizzard Star killing PC the only. Now Ison trying to find an off angle, but it's not going to be enough when the entire team dies in the process of them creating their own space. Now just getting chased down and is going to be killed and staggered. They should have just submitted to their opponents.
Unfortunately, Tracer trying their best to escape, but not quite enough in time because Blizzard Star there finding the alternative route and picking them off. But I don't think it's going to matter too much. Tracer is a fast character, so going to be back in the fight pretty soon. We got some ultimates online though from both of these teams. I wonder if PC Only is going to be making good use of their ult. I mean, well, Curiosity trying to build up theirs, but I don't think it's going to be that. That's going to be making any kind of difference.
Oh, Iceland falling. They didn't have that recall, and that's going to be a hold from YSH here now. I'm not sure how long it's going to last, but certainly going to last at least a little bit. Now we're going to see the Hazard.
I was expecting.
Hazard's contesting with the ult coming out, just dodged by the Sojourn, really manipulating the space. Overwhelmed does fall in the end with that Kitsune Rush coming out, I believe. And now we're going to see the clone not quite able to get that ult off and then does fall themselves. Now MUC Celestial really finding their footing, really finding their ground and saying, no, we will not let you pass. Like Gandalf in that one scene in The Hobbit.
Oh yes, yes! Who's coming out with more movie references? Yes, this is the stream you wanted all to see. But look at this, and Celestial coming out again. Pulse bomb connects, finds the kill onto Curiosity. She's not going to be looking so good. So close as well to her rally, but unfortunately, it's not going to be around to make any difference as Orpheus cleans up the remaining members of YSH. Freya here, all the way at the back. But it's just not really going to matter too much, unfortunately. 2 minutes, though, on the clock still remaining for them to try and make an attack. And they do have 3 ultimates available, so we'll see whether any of these 3 ults are going to make the difference.
Now, with every Lord of the Rings fan mad at me, I'm going to see how many more inaccuracies I can tell about movies. As Fallen does pop overclock, but the Brig comes out, tries to kill them, and does just manage to. Now, a real push from YSH. Like Forrest Gump running down their opponents like he does in that one movie.
Yes, like in that one movie. But YSH making great use though, only having to use 2 ultimates and in exchange for Lestal for 1. But unfortunately for them, they are now going to be put in a bit of a tight situation because it's now or never for them to defend this last point.
Panther contesting the point here, trying to find value, trying to find a kill. Isn't quite able to, as Curiosity kills Noah, and PC the only. This bring is going insane. Like the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. But that is the first round complete. Wire Siege having 1 minute and 7 seconds on the clock. Still a very respectable time, but I was honestly expecting them to do a reasonable amount, a reasonable amount better here.
You think so? I think this is a pretty reasonable average kind of thing. You got a couple of really nice, clean team fights, but I feel like Wire Siege might have been doing a little bit better in the bits in between those fights. And it's not just the victories, but also in between. And Celestial just kind of coming out on top on a couple of those fights as a result. But I think it's still in the bag for Celestial to win this. You know, it's not. I wouldn't be counting your eggs quite so soon, especially if you're chat. I mean, I hope that you are all the more excited for this fight. Whichever team you have picked to support for today, Wire Siege. I mean, I'm not too surprised with this lineup, but that Echo, I think, is really the key to their success so far.
Yeah, Blizzard Star is just able to do so much. The amount of damage they've been dealing with those sticky bombs, the amount of attention they've been forcing their opponents to pay is honestly incredible. Fallen choosing to go Hanzo here, a strategy we don't often see. The sniper is definitely a very strong choice to bake, but more often than not, people will play a Widow. But potentially they're choosing Hando for the little bit more versatility he has. Maybe to push up on their opponents just a little bit further. Maybe it's to deal with the Echo. As they do try to shoot them out the sky, won't quite be able to. And that is going to be a fully walled off fight. But no one quite dies from it. It's just waiting out cooldowns, waiting out enemy resources. And Kiriko is dope in that backline. Focusing Beam does manage to take down Orpheus. But I'm not sure if MUC Celestial will be able to hold much longer here. As Wire Siege got up some forward momentum, and that is a team where if you give them an inch, they will take a mile.
Which movie film is that from?
I just stole it from another cast.
Oh, all right, got it. Well, anyway, I guess there's always was this a movie? I don't know if this could.
There's always a bigger fish.
I suppose so. Anyway, MCU Celestial. This Hanzo, it's a hero that plays quite slowly, and I'm not sure it's going to be doing quite so well in the current, tempo of gameplay. But to try and deal with the Echo might be a chance. But excellent assassination onto the brick there. 2 kills already in favor of Celestial. 3 now.
Yeah, Panther killing Fallen in return isn't quite going to get the momentum they need, as MUC Celestial are going to hold and be 3 on the objective, getting 2 ticks. I don't think anyone can touch from the side of Wire Siege. And looking at the ult economy here, Celestial are on the back foot. They are at a slight deficit, but they are closer to support ults. And those are the really pivotal ones. Those are the ones that can change the game in such a meaningful way.
Yeah, but I think this is really going to come down to those pulse bombs of those tracers. I think whoever's going to land the fattest pulse bomb or the most crucial one at the crucial time is really going to end up deciding the victor between these 2 teams.
Yeah, I mean, Pulse Bomb's such a strong ult, and with great power comes great responsibility, as Kitsune Rush is pulled out, followed by the Hazard ult, going to try to find damage, overwhelmed, almost dying, getting caught in the enemy Hazard ult, is just going to be left hanging, but no one quite dies yet. These teams are able to rotate so efficiently and so well, as instantly 2 players die, and now it's just about waiting out that Lucio ultimate, trying to stall out your opponent's healing and trying to find an opportunity to kill them. Lucio really coming out here at Easton, and Fallen getting a kill onto Blizzard Star out of the sky, presumably. This is just going to be about annoying your backline, but they managed to get
nice!
Hazard.
Oh, that was amazing. Oh, that was really, really good there by MUC Celestial there. They pulled back, they waited, and they had survived thanks to, in part, that beat, as you were saying, and the Hansel coming out, and then Tracer able to pick off the Hazard player there. Then Lucio just kind of spending the time idling around, having to try and duel with the Tracer. But the favorite's going to be in the Tracer, especially with all that mobility and recalls that the Tracer has.
Now, I'm excited to see what happens here. I think MUC Celestial are likely to be able to take this all the way and get more distance than their opponents. The beat does come out and Overwhelm able to get a kill onto Fallen. Blizzard Star getting their own. Overwhelm getting a second. Ison does die to Kiriko, but Ison's death is ultimately not that impactful, as as a Sith, dealt in an absolute and was incorrect in the end.
I'm sorry, I felt like you must be in the future or something, because I looked on my screen and Easton appeared to still be alive as a Tracer, but I'm a bit concerned though. Easton's been holding on to this pulse bomb for quite a while, and that's not really great. I mean, all the way from the very start of first point, you know, when that was captured, they still had it, but they've just not used it, and I think that might be one of them in a little bit of a difficult situation. Panther has almost already built up a second pulse bomb in this time.
And I mean, no one had ults at the start of this fight except Ison. Everyone just looking to farm them up. But with Noah having an early death, that's going to be difficult to recover from. Potentially, we're just going to see a sunk fight and waiting out that clock from MUC Celestial as they ultimately die. Now we're going to go into a high resource fight. Wire Siege, if they play this right, might engage first, and they might win because of it. They're likely to get ults before their opponents do. If they don't peek this corner, they could just surprise attack them. It would give a lot of space, and that is a lot of room to work with. PC the only getting so low, but just about living on that high ground, potentially looking to go down the side route here, do a split push type of thing, as Orpheus is walled off and almost dies, but the ultimate does come out, and it is completely circumnavigated by their opponents. Now Lucio trying to get shot out of the sky by Ison, but tracking's just not quite fast enough. And the clone from Blizzard Star onto Freya is going to be able to get a kill. Coming out of it, trying to get a kill with the focus beam will just about miss, but getting a triple kill. That is a 10-player KO streak. That is lethal.
I don't know, man, what to say. I mean, look, Iston, great pulse bomb, getting the kill onto Panther. Panther's pulse bomb not really able to connect, but Blizzard Star able to do so much work, melting down so many players. Curiosity, you're doing a great job of that, Lucio, chasing them down. But he comes out from Curiosity already, trying to keep him alive as they go in aggressively, using it.
Wow.
And Blizzard Star capitalizes on all this pressure, picks up 3 kills. Oh my word.
Oh, wow. 10 seconds left.
A couple of ultimates.
I mean, I don't think MUC Celestial can touch here. They are dropping the beat. They are losing wall riding to the objective, and only a Sith deals in absolutes. As PCB only does manage to touch, does die shortly thereafter, using so many ults just to get to the objective. Now they are holding it. Now they are contesting it. But Fallen, having the bolo shot, is probably going to be able to do a lot. But Lucio Curiosity able to kill them. Noah killing Curiosity in turn. And this is a 3v2, I believe, on the objective.
It is indeed. With the PC only the last player remaining, unfortunately, I don't think anybody's going to be around to give them the last little touch. Oh, unfortunate loss there for MUC Celestial. I really thought they could have won that in the back there, but unfortunately, I think they just maybe missed out on a couple of key opportunities, and that's all it really mattered, especially at this level of play in Champions Division. You know, I feel like if you do just miss out a couple of key opportunities to get that victory, to win that team fight, that's all that you really need. This isn't, you know, plats, this isn't gold or even diamond. You got to be playing as well as you possibly can and finding and making sure that you take advantage of those opportunities. And I just feel like Celestial might have missed out on a couple of those opportunities there, and that's all that cost them the fight and the map victory. And now there's now 2 maps in favor of Wire Siege.
And in much sadder news, I have been demoted off the chair. Anarchy, our organizer, decided that because I wasn't wearing the crown, I didn't deserve it. So now we have my jungle skog here. But absolutely, that was a match and a clear display of prowess from Wire Siege yet again. proving why they are undefeated and unperturbed so far in this tournament. There's an opportunity for it to change, but I'm not sure it will as we go into the third match in this best of five. So I'm excited to see what happens here.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see what is going to be coming up next. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure what they're going to do. I think okay. I mean, okay, this is kind of I mean, it's not entirely off topic, but I feel like Celestial, they've got to ban like an Echo or some kind of like really annoying DPS because those DPSs have just been doing such a menace in their backline. Maybe not an Echo. Maybe they go for a Venture or something that's more appropriate to the map that they will now be choosing. But I don't think that's the only thing that's going on because also what I really liked about that last map was the Tracer duel that was going on, and I feel like Celestial have a great advantage here that they could be, maybe pushing just a little bit more with Ezio. But just look at those eliminations from Panther, and I feel like that's really the key
Ooh.
pit there. You really want to be getting those kills in those team fights together, and that's the crucial part.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see what map is chosen next. I'm just trying to find uh the choices they can make, but I believe it's push next.
Yeah, I believe it is. And I believe one thing I forgot to say that I always love to say is that I don't think stats always tell the story of what's going on, especially with a complicated hero like Tracer, because
Mhm.
Tracer can be a lot more than just strictly eliminations. But I feel
Ooh.
like that was what I was trying to say is with that is that
Circuit.
it's all about that. But we gotta move on. I gotta move on. I got to move on to the escort maps, like you were saying, Circuit Royale. And I suppose I shouldn't be too surprised about this because one of these teams keeps choosing Sigma.
Mhm. And like I was saying, I definitely talked about escort maps and nothing else. You all misheard me. But yeah, Circuit Royale, I have strong opinions on this map. But even if it's not fun to play, it's fun to cast. It's always interesting. And the Sojourn ban from MUC Celestial, potentially the most influential here. Sojourn, really strong. And every time they try rework her in some way, she just ends up being strong in a different way. Ramatra is the other ban here. But I think those make sense. I think those are good, and I think that benefits each team equally. Perhaps not so much on this map for a Ramatra, but he's not awful. And especially when you're comparing him to someone like a Sigma, he's better in my opinion. I feel like the optimal strategy is to run an Orisa on this map.
I feel like yeah, I feel like sure, that Ramatra ban is trying to, almost force a Sigma a play. Unfortunately, there misses the shot on the Widowmaker, but the Ramatra, yeah, sure, you're trying to force that Sigma, but even then, I don't think Sigma's a good choice.
Mhm. Now we're gonna see a Widow come out here early, but being a body shot bandit, hitting more body shot.
Oh,
Oh, never mind. Panther manages to kill them in return, and now we're gonna see quite a strong push up, quite a strong start from YSC here. As MEC Celestial choosing to play Widow on defense is interesting. It potentially can work, and it's potentially better now with her new um, cooldown reduction when she uses her grappling hook, which is her new minor perk. But I'm not sure if it's going to do much. I'm not sure if it's going to end up being that useful against such a well-coordinated team and against a team with a shield like Cygnus.
yeah, I mean, you definitely can make the Widow work, but you're putting your team at a bit of a disadvantage. You're really starting to
Ooh.
rely on those key picks that Widowmaker makes in order to win these fights, because otherwise you're basically putting your team into a 5v4 situation most of the time. If you're not able to get those one pick, that two pick, or even those threatening key lines where you feel scared to go into certain places, even that could be enough, but I just don't think that's going to be happening here, and it doesn't seem to be making much of a difference. That's why Siege have been making excellent progress so far, capturing all the way to the first point, and even pushing
Holding
all
at
the way as far as
second.
second as well.
Yeah. Now,
but Carl's
the
not there yet.
bowler shot already, that, if you use it soon enough, wins a fight. If you use it before your opponents get any ult, you can win a fight using that, and you charge it back by the time they've got, or they've used their next ones anyway. So why not? Now, the swap to Ashe makes a lot of sense here. Widow is a character which is forced to have a lot of space to work, and that was splitting the attention of the supports here. And the beam onto that enemy backline, able to get a kill only onto the healing sentry turret. But with the Sigma gravitational flux on Orpheus, Overwhelm does manage to get a kill, and this fire is not quite enough. It's getting the enemy team low, but not finding any final hits.
Yeah, unfortunately not here for Celestial. Not looking so good. Panther doing a great job so far, and they haven't really had to win too many fights with ultimates yet either. And so, ultimate's coming out from line from Celestial here. Flux coming out, trying to get into the cam, and they are able to prevent it.
But I mean, that is an incredible Genji play. Why were they playing Tracer so far? They hold at 1.07 meters. That is ridiculously close. MUC Celestial have to be on the edge of their seats right now.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be a great call, though, to be so aggressive and to be able to stop that from happening. It's not every day that you see that kind of amazing sort of hold there, even though, you know, Blizzard Star, who's been absolutely dominant so far on their DPS picks, was not able to win despite the 2K.
Ooh, Hanzo Dragon able to get a kill, able to find a second. It is on the pub, though. But now we're gonna see a retake from my Siege here, I believe, as both Sigmas use their E at the same time and just sucking each other. I hear
Right.
it. I hear it.
Nothing. Oh no! I already cut. No. Anyway, my Siege. I mean, it was kind of somewhat of a matter of time, really. Celestial had a bit of a hard time. Full stop, unfortunately, but I don't think it was you know, a bad thing at all. You're always trying to see if you can win it, and that's great. Ultimate comes out from the secretly DPS support here. Is able to find maybe 2 kills, 3 kills, convert it into more, trying to chase down this with Baptiste. Able to get the kill now. Now there's just a couple of members of Celestial here on the high ground.
This person's played too much. That's the entire section. They've played too much. But genuinely, really impressive. Obvious getting a kill onto Blizzard Star here. And I thought they jumped off the map. Turns out there's a staircase there. But the staircase isn't quite going to be enough. Falling swapping back to the Widowmaker here. Potentially useful. There are some really long sightlines on this objective, but it didn't work before. I'm not sure if it'll work again. Especially into Blizzard Star, who's such a reliable player.
Yeah, like I said before, you know, when you're picking that Widowmaker, not only are you playing at a really long range, but you're also really dependent on being able to get those couple of kills. And if you're not able to get those couple of kills, apply that bit of pressure, quite a lot of pressure, with such a simple hero, you're going to be struggling. But Ultimate comes out online, though, never mind. Not able to find any kills, unfortunately, as they go around. Trading ults now, Odyssey getting the second.
Yeah. And, I mean, Overwhelm, able to dodge, dip, dive, and dodge here as they absolutely win the skirmish in their opponent's backline, killing so many of them whilst taking very little damage themselves, actually not even dropping through that overhang.
That is pretty ridiculous to not be dropping quite so much. Playing incredibly aggressive here as they feel like the taste of victory, no doubt, is definitely within their grasp. Why is Siege here? Trying to find some opportunity for Fallen here. Oh, it's not able to get picked up for Curiosity, who's not even a DPS. She's doing amazing work in this Alari.
Overwhelm forced the solo hold here, but with the dragons coming out, it might be enough as they do die. Overwhelm does get kills and is rolling their opponents as MUC Celestial do not manage to hold their opponents back for long, with 1 minute 39 on the clock for YS Siege, going all the way.
Yeah, this match is actually, I feel like it's It's a bit of a weird one in some ways. It's like the match as overall is seems kind of uh, balanced in a way. You know, it's actually surprisingly close. I feel like it definitely is in within Celestial's grasp. Maybe all they just needed is a little bit of coaching, or maybe they just aren't quite grasping, or maybe it's a mental difference. But the difference is actually, even though individual fights and why Siege are winning those consecutive fights, which is why I think that, a lot of the time it's about
Ooh.
the transitions between those fights, why Siege doing quite well. But we're now moving on to a different kind of rotation. Now, Celestial here now on the offensive, and they did quite a good job on the previous map of King's Row, but it is crucial for them that they get this map win. Otherwise, they are not going to be staying for long in the upper bracket in this best of 5 series.
We are seeing some quite dynamic roster shifts
Yeah.
here. Why are Siege choosing to swap to the Sombra? Decent choice, but more importantly, MUC Celestial going full dive. Something which isn't often done on this map. It can work, but it is extremely difficult. And against such a well-coordinated team, I'm not sure if it's going to end up doing much. Panther holding this sightline, looking to get a kill as their opponents peak, but Tracer knowing to clear angles properly and knowing not to let their opponents get an unfair advantage here. Blizzard's staff potentially here for the anti-dive more than they are to kill their opponents outright. They hack onto Winston, getting them low, able to get them killed instantly. But I'm not sure how much value it's going to find, and they will recover. It is just a flesh wound.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, their first offensive did not go quite so well for Celestial, but I'm not, as much as I'm not super fond of this composition, I don't think it's bad either, actually. The Tracer can do an excellent job at countering the Sombra if you know how to, though, and the Winston provides a great opportunity as well to kind of jump in and remove the bonuses that, a Sigma is going to be getting, but there's a lot of things that maybe it's not quite working out for them, and I just feel like they're just not quite certain on how to play with this composition.
Ooh, Orpheus does fall to Blizzard Star in the end. Full and killing Panther isn't going to be enough, as that is an outright decimation from YS Siege here, as they managed to the melee onto Tracer from an Ilari. That is a ridiculous way to end things. That is just flexing. That is just showing off. With 2 minutes 20 on the clock, I'm not sure if MUC Celestial will be able to even make it to first point now.
Well, it can be a little bit difficult to get past this first point, that's for sure. And I suppose if they've been having this much trouble, then maybe it's time to switch off the team composition, because well, I don't think it's a problem. It just doesn't seem to be working out for them, whether that's how they're playing or the little mistakes that are building up and causing these kind of differences to happen. But why is Siege doing such a dominant job here, being able to find those kills with the Widowmaker, find the kills with the Alari, the Sombra doing so much work in, even though they're playing quite slowly as they need to, the Sombra is doing well. Oh, though, it's just...
Iceland, full and able to deal a lot of damage, able to actually roll their opponents quite confidently here. Now, I'm pretty sure Iceland has the new Genji perk, which allows him to reduce the cooldown of his Swift Strike, but I'm not quite sure if they've been able to attune to how to use it just yet. They were struggling a little bit to get the combos off there, and we saw the value, the power they had. They had a brilliant blade earlier, so I'm excited to see if they can replicate it now. But with every ult being popped at once, Iceland able to find a solution to the chaos, but on 7 health does fall in the end. Curiosity able to get a kill onto PCD only, and Iceland being killed by Blizzard Star. Orpheus killing Curiosity themselves. Now with the Primal Juggle, able to deal so much damage, able to push their opponents so far back. And I think MUC Celestial have finally taken the point here.
That is a great little final push there by Celestial. I mean, I think that they managed to finally get that to work, find those picks, and then when they were able to finally get into that and get that key kill, they were able to cascade from there. But why is Siege, though, I mean, they do have that Sombra ultimate online, and I feel like that could be
Ooh.
nasty. Oh, nasty kill there by Curiosity. She's able to get that beautiful kill onto Orpheus. That's the tank down. Tank down is always a bad sign in any match, especially when it's so early in the fight like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Noah dying to Panther early on in this fight, and the heck of Lucio. That's potentially going to leave them hanging. They do just about live, but with a lot of pressure on them and a lot of space controlled by Siege, I'm not sure what MUC Celestial are going to be able to do. It is a risky strategy to hold this much space, because if your opponents manage to find a weakness or a flaw, then it's difficult to peel. But I'm sure a team like this that's so well coordinated and so good at anti-dive, Iliari trying to 1v Tracer in a narrow corridor is ridiculous, but it is working, and I think that's the more wild thing, as Iceland almost gets a kill but ultimately dies, and the deflect does not do nearly enough.
Unfortunately, not. I don't think you're going to be able to deflect an infinite amount of damage that YSC seems to be outputting. Um, this team composition is quite brutal, no doubt, to try and break through and to land those kills. And you're also just looking for a good opportunity with a dive composition, and YC just don't seem to be giving them quite so much, especially with so many mobile characters and characters that can just kind of survive and get out of the way.
Yeah, and we're seeing everyone hold the exact same corners this fight. Almost a replica, but I'm not sure if there's going to be different results as Winston pushes up and down
Nice.
that high ground. Fallen able to get a 2k, really shifting up, really psyching out their opponents with what they were about to do. And it showed innovation breeds chaos on the battlefield as Curiosity is just trying so hard to stay alive. It's only going to end up staggering, I think. But Orpheus ultimately finding the kill, as Overwhelm did manage to live. That's going to give them a little bit more stopping power, a little bit more prevention. And is this a full reset on this fight here from Siege as their team comes back into the fray? Blizzard Star having swapped to Venture, that's going to be a lot of CC, a lot of denying space to their opponents, and that's 2 kills already. The gravitational flicks does come out from the skybox onto Orpheus, killing him in the primal rage with 5 seconds on the clock. I don't think anyone can touch from Celestial. And Siege have won it, dancing on their opponents' graves.
Oh, that is absolutely brutal. Just dancing on your opponents like that. I mean, oh, Celestial, though, they put up an amazing fight. I mean, you just saw the level of dedication. They were trying to keep and win that to the very end. They were coordinating with their team on the dives, able to pick up that crucial kill onto the Baptiste that won them that fight. And maybe that was just what they were missing. You know, most of the time they just weren't quite able to execute that flawless, that dive requires a lot of execution, it requires a lot of coordination, especially at this level. And Wyatt Siege, they're no slouches. They are an amazing team, and you really got to be catching them off guard. You've really got to be going on the off angles. Is it could be brutal, man. It could be brutal, but I feel like hopefully if you've watched that and you felt like, oh, Wyatt Siege was, the dominant team. No, no, no. Wyatt Siege was just the stronger team because Celestial, they were good. They were a very strong team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's it's brilliant to watch 2 such incredible teams, such brilliant players, and such skilled um, performances here. I think it's truly impressive what these players are able to do and how reliably they're able to completely confuse me as a caster and a spectator of whatever the hell this chaos is. But that was a brilliant match in my opinion. YSC showing their prowess, showing their dominance over this tournament so far, and continuing to do so. Looking at who I think was the best player, I have to say I think it's Overwhelmed. They're a really, really strong tank. They're so reliable, and they're able to help run lobbies so much. But you could convince me Blizzard Star was doing a lot as well. They were running the lobby at some points on
Yeah,
Adventure.
I will have to agree with you on Blizzard, because I feel like Blizzard is definitely they really were just running the lobby. They pretty much kind of went into a fight, beat everyone up, and then the team just won. And I feel like it comes from a lot of different parts, not just like understanding your team as a DPS player, but also being able to like time your attacks well and coordinate well. But for me, I don't think. I mean, even though I am going to award MVP to Blizzard, I feel like we've got to be mentioning some honorable mentions as well. Just like you were saying with Overwhelm doing an amazing job on tank. I feel like sorry, Curiosity was doing an amazing job on their supports as well, playing those supports incredibly well, maximizing them as much as they can, getting that DPS damage in, getting as much healing as they possibly could get in, just comboing all that together, managing it all, managing the resources is another reason why I think that Wire Siege won that map.
Yeah, absolutely. It's truly a testament to what can happen when you get a great team with players that work so well together. You can see the synergy, you can see the communication emanate from how they play, emanate from how they push, and emanate from what they are able to do on the battlefield. Looking at the stats here, basically equal healing from the teams, but much more efficient in terms of how much damage they can deal and how much pain they can cause their opponents. Able to get so many kills in ridiculously short match overall.
Yeah, definitely a surprising match. I mean, as we're looking at the stats right now, I mean, sure, Wire Siege were just incredibly dominant with those stats, with those kills, with those eliminations, the damage, the healing is actually, surprisingly similar. But I feel like that's the key. Like maybe there was some little thing like Wire Siege were ever so slightly minutely better at, you know, focusing one particular target. Maybe they're ever so slightly better at rotating, at coordinating, uh, team cohesion. Maybe they've played, a lot longer than Celestial have as a team, and they just sort of have that instinctual know-how of what your teammates are going to be doing that Celestial don't quite have to the same level. And all these little details can really add up to um, quite an amazing performance. But I think I've said this about 4 times now already with Celestial. Like, I think that that is gonna be a really interesting matchup for them to look at and to try and understand later because they had some really amazing moments. They had some really shiny moments where, players really stood out and they were able to make that, crucial pick, that crucial, ultimate being able to stick, and they were able to turn around a fight even when it was looking kind of dire. And I feel like that's like that crucial moment, just in that little window there, is almost everything that they could ever want and need. And I, I feel that just kind of breaks down to that. But I feel like I'm going to spend far too long yapping. Perhaps it is in my name. What do you think, and how would you surmise what we have just seen so far, Zeus?
Well, I think it was fantastic. Like, now, if you want to watch this VOD again, if you want to watch any of the other VODs of me making even worse movie references, you can do so at the YouTube. I believe it is in the description of the Twitch channel. But if not, just search Crown Cup on YouTube and you can find them all there. Now, we are going to leave you, and I'm going to leave you with some very inspirational movie quotes. So always remember, in space, no one can hear you scream.